Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Is that good? All right. You might be wondering how carpet backings can add to sustainability, and how it's going to relate to LEED in this workshop. So what you have to understand first about sustainability with flooring is to understand what's under the nylon of the products that are specified. So what we're going to talk about is the chemistries, the different types of backings that are available in the commercial market. Today we'll cover the finishing process for how carpet backing is added, the backing needs, what determines what's specified for your projects, the benefits of these different backings, the challenges and the opportunities, the pros and cons, and then performance testing. It's going to be very exciting. The first thing we'll review is how is carpet made, or how is a backing added. Once the carpet is tufted, so what happens is the nylon is tufted on a scrim and it goes through the backing process. So let's see if this works. So here you'll see where the tufted carpet is, and it goes through this machine that adds a topical treatment to it. It might be antimicrobial, it might be stain resist. Then it goes through the coating process, and that's where the backing is added, because sometimes the backings might be in liquid form, or there's a primary and a secondary backing that's put on with adhesive. And then it goes through this drying oven here to pull out any moisture and also to set the backing. And the last process is the shearing process, if it's going to be a tip sheared product. This is a photograph of a mill, and most backings in the mills are either carpet tile or roll. And you'll see on the top picture here, that's just, oops, that white area right there, that's that one large oven. So really there's these little windows that you could see in and see what's going on with the material. So it's a very long process. I bet you've always wondered, why is carpet backed? Haven't you? Backing is added for performance advantages. You might have an area rug in your house that doesn't have a backing on it because it doesn't need a high performance backing. What performance advantages are added are increased durability. You've got improved appearance retention. It adds dimensional stability. It's easier to install, and in some cases it adds a moisture barrier, which is very important in a lot of our projects. There are backings that are required for specific end uses, whether it's healthcare, education, hospitality. Are most people in here education oriented? Anybody do healthcare? Government? We'll go through some of the backing characteristics for these, the end uses. Here's a slide on education and healthcare. So I think you probably all agree that in education, stain resistance is key. High tuft bind, which we'll talk about later in the presentation. High density, moisture resistance. Budget consideration is huge in education. Easy maintenance, sound absorption, and comfort underfoot. Some healthcare needs are moisture barrier, Also, antimicrobial treatments is a key factor. For corporate, you have appearance retention. Everybody wants it to look really nice. Ability to rearrange office furnishings. Environmental recycling is key for government projects. Ease of maintenance. I think a lot of these can apply across the board for all market segments, but there are some that are very specific in what is necessary. And I have to say that a lot of times products are specified for the way they look on top, and this is going to give you an idea of what needs to be on the bottom so that your product will last. For retail, key things that are needed are your ability to resist wear and recover. For hospitality, it's stain resistance. So now we're going to talk about chemistry. This is what you've been waiting for. We're going to talk about urethane. We're going to talk about vinyl. It's not going to be that bad. Actually, what we're going to do is separate into 3 different types of backing. And this will kind of narrow down and help you understand exactly how each one applies. So in this next slide, you'll show that we're separated into 3 types of backings. There's the latex backing, polyurethane backings, and thermoplastics, which have 3 different types underneath that, which is the hot melts, the polyolefins, and your PVC, which is vinyl. One thing I wanted to have you notice is that the recyclability, for instance, latex is limited recyclability, polyurethanes, and how the thermoplastics can be recycled into itself. So if you're going for LEED or just want a sustainable product or project, that's key to know what backings can apply. Okay, we'll first talk about latex. And I've got some samples here, and I'll pass them around. Latex, I'm sure you've seen that backing on the bottom. This is pretty much the standard for all manufacturers. A latex backing, it's cost effective. A lot of products are offered on carpet tile or backing, different, whatever is necessary for your project. And in some cases, the budget's tight and we use a latex backing. And I'll pass this around and it'll tell you that's latex once it comes around. Thanks. Another advantage to latex is that it has excellent pattern match. And I'll show you that in a minute because you're able to stretch a latex more than some of the other backings. It has good tuft bind and good edge ravel. That doesn't say excellent, so we'll talk about that too. Some pros and cons to latex are that it's a broadloom only backing. And I know that everybody here has probably used a latex paint. When you clean your paintbrush, what happens? It just breaks apart. That's your latex paint. So guess what happens when you have a latex backing? It goes right through. It is not impervious to moisture. This is where you might get your odors, mold and mildew occurring. You can't clean the bottom of your carpet. So also I wanted to show you that a stain this small actually travels that far. So when you do clean a stain, don't just clean this small area, you clean it a much larger area. Okay?
How'd you get a perfectly round circle stain?
Oh, that came from the mill. I didn't do that.
This is your wine.
Yeah, exactly. So some of the challenges are you have delamination, where the backing comes apart from the face fiber. That's caused from moisture. It also deteriorates with age, possibly, if you have too much moisture from your hot water extraction or your cleaning. The warranties aren't as good as some of the other backings. It has no recycled content. But an opportunity or a pro to this is that it has a universal installation. You can put it anywhere. Another backing, this is the second category, it's called a polyurethane. And this is a reactive chemistry which forms the backing structure. It is not water-based like latex. And I've got an example here of a polyurethane. Polyurethanes have really good warranties. They have attached cushion if you're looking for comfort underfoot. The challenge is that it's time-consuming and difficult to install. Limited recyclability. You can't weld the seams for a true moisture barrier. So it's moisture resistant, but not a moisture barrier. And we'll review that in a minute too. The next category is thermoplastics. Thermoplastics have very good dimensional stability. They're impervious to moisture. So if you have a spill, it does not go through to your backing like the other one did. It's something like this, where you have a stain and it doesn't go through, even at the first level. Some of the pros to a thermoplastic is that it's better than latex, has a good warranty. The only thing is that it is difficult to install, especially in extreme temperatures. It's costly to install because it takes more adhesive and more man hours. It's also brittle in cold climates. And this is an example of a thermoplastic hot melt. Another type of thermoplastic is a polyolefin, and this is a fairly new chemistry. It hasn't been on the market, but it has a lot of advantages. One of those is that it's less sensitive to floor prep. It can install on existing adhesives, which is nice. A con, though, might be that it telegraphs through if your floor prep isn't a good floor prep, and that's very important. The last category for backings is a vinyl back. Vinyl backing has been around for a long time, and it's a proven performer. So it has dimensional stability, there's no delamination or edge ravel, it's typically covered in your warranties. You can get it in 9, 12, and 6-foot widths. You can get it in carpet tile. It has a lot of flexibility. And it also has a longer life cycle, and we know that because it's proven and it's been in the market for a lot of years. Some of the challenges is that it is heavy. It's 4 times the weight of latex, so if you have a roll backing, it's probably going to be smaller than latex roll, and you'll have more seams. But it does have recycled content, and you can recycle it back into itself. Now we're going to look at performance testing. It's not just a manufacturer saying that it's going to perform like you want it to. There are performance tests that are done in the industry. The first one is tuft bind, which is how many pounds of pressure is required to pull tufts out of the carpet. And the machine is right there. You'll see that in the photograph at the left. Delamination, like the one I showed on this on this sample where it's come, that's what delamination is. That's the force, the amount of force required to strip the secondary backing from the primary backing. And then we also have a moisture penetration test. There's two of them. There's one called the British spill test, which is, what happens is the test is spilling liquid on your carpet and leaving it for a minimum of 24 hours. And if it does not penetrate, then you've passed the British spill test. There's also a test called the moisture impact test, which is adding force on that liquid, and if it doesn't penetrate the backing, then that means that it's moisture impervious. Another testing we have is the roll chair test. This is used to make sure that it's not going to, your product won't delaminate or crush and mat. Edge ravel is like in a sweater when the yarn is raveled from the edge, just like it sounds. And then antimicrobial protection, how well the backing inhibits the growth of bacteria. And one thing I have to say about that is when you have a vinyl product with, of course, nylon. Nylon is like a plastic. I know there's some misconceptions about carpet creating poor indoor air quality, especially in schools. Have y'all heard that? It's not really the case. What's causing possible odor is mold and mildew that has attached itself to a food source. Nylon and vinyl backing is not a food source. If you get any kind of stains, spills, crumbs in your carpet, that's what the food source is, and that's what promotes mold and mildew. So if you keep a clean carpet, you won't have any of those issues. Also, another tidbit is that with hard surface, you're actually, when you walk, you're putting all of those dust, contaminants back into the air when you're walking. Whereas with carpet, it actually acts like a filter to keep all of those contained. Here are some of the problems that are caused by selecting the wrong backing. Have any of you seen this before in any of your facilities? The second one is a photograph of delamination. 3 is wick back, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And then the fourth one is your pattern match. You see how that photograph shows how the pattern is not matching? See that line is not matching? That's a poor choice of backing. A lot of times you don't have to worry about that because the mills, depending on the pattern, will put the proper backing on the pattern. If you have a linear product like that, typically it's going to be on a latex backing because you can stretch it to have those patterns match. So we'll look at the problem and then the cause for each problem, which delamination. If you have delamination, then the wrong backing was chosen. Or there might be too much hot water extraction. Maybe too much water was laid out with your machines. Or there's a lack of adhesive transfer. If the adhesive is not put on properly, or it's the wrong adhesive for that backing, then that will cause delamination because you have moisture going back into the product. Another problem is subfloor and adhesive compatibility problems. Like I said, when you use the incorrect backing that doesn't allow the carpet to breathe, maybe you have a high moisture content in your slab and you didn't use the right adhesive. There are adhesives that will hold more moisture. Or the packing choice was not compatible with the glue that was selected. And in this picture, you can see how the adhesive actually reacts to the backing, and it's made this sticky tar-like substance. I mean, it all relates back to chemistry. It's very important that you use the glue that was manufactured to go with that backing. It also helps with your warranties. The last one here is backing deterioration. Looks like they've used too much water when they cleaned, or the backing has crumbled and disintegrated. And sometimes that always can happen too if it's put over pad. A lot of mills don't manufacture products that are suitable for pad or to go over pad. They have products that are attached cushion, which is directly glued to the subfloor. So that comes back to the right backing choice. Edge ravel, we talked about a little bit. You can see that in that bottom photograph where that little piece is peeking up there. On your latex backings, we have a seam sealer. So for every broadloom, you need a seam sealer that's going to keep that from happening, and a warranty that goes with it. Warranties are very important to know about. We talked about the wrong adhesive, which is called plasticizer migration. Whenever I go on, if there's a problem with the flooring, we look at the glue, and I can describe it, and people in technical will know exactly what's happened, whether it's the wrong glue or they've used too much glue. So it's very important to get a good installation. Also, seams pulling apart. Again, they didn't use the right amount of seam sealer, or it could have been an adhesive failure. If your pattern match isn't adding up, then it might be the backing. It wasn't stretched in properly. Now I want to talk about the warranties. It's easy to select a product that looks good, but what is that going to look like? Is it going to perform the way you want it to? How long do you want it to be on the floor? What kind of warranties are you looking for? Do you need a moisture barrier? Do you need a wick-back warranty? All of those are offered by the flooring manufacturers. You just have to know what to ask for. And hopefully this presentation will allow you to do that. Again, carpet selection always affects maintenance as well. It shows here this rating scale where this one, the random pattern, is going to hide the most, and a solid is going to just stick out like a sore thumb. So you can see all the different patterns in between, and how choosing the proper pattern is also important. So we've talked about the basics of the finishing process in manufacturing, the backing needs of the various market segments, the different types of backing and their benefits, the challenges or the pros and cons of the different backing systems, and then the importance of performance testing. I put some review questions here. And one thing that I didn't cover is that a backing itself cannot contribute to LEED credits, but a flooring material as a whole can. And I'll show you that in just a minute. Backings can contribute with good indoor air quality. The adhesives contribute to LEED, and also recycled content. And I really like this question: what is the best sustainable story that you can have? And that is not how much recycled content there is, although that does impact for LEED credits, but isn't it keeping the material on the floor the longest so it doesn't go to landfill? Or making sure that there's an outlet at the end of its useful life to make sure that that can be recycled into other products or back into carpet. That concludes the CEU portion, but I wanted to talk to you and let you see how this applies to selecting carpet and how it can contribute to LEED, and also about your sustainable designs. I had this little, did y'all get this information sheet in your packet? Now, you don't have to get it out now because I know you're eating, but in this packet, it will show you how flooring can contribute to your projects. The first, and there's carpet and resilient flooring on this paperwork. But the first thing is indoor air quality is very important to LEED. So what has happened in the industry is there's third-party certifications for all of the benefits that contribute to LEED. For instance, I don't know if y'all have heard of California CHIPS. Have y'all heard about that? Okay. That stands for the Collaborative for High Performance Schools. So what happened is California came up with a lot of parameters that needed to be met, whether it was indoor air quality, how is the product made, how does that contribute to recycled content. I mean, they looked at all the parameters. They looked at design. They looked at the manufacturer. Is it a good manufacturer? Are they producing material that was good for the environment? They look at long-term value. How long is it going to be on the floor? Will it have a long life cycle or a short life cycle? The end of its life, what happens at the end? Some backings can't be recycled or they're burned. What is that doing to the environment? It's not going to landfill, but we have things going into the air. Corporate governance and innovation. Mannington has a product where we use 100% of the nylon that is left over from all of our products, and we put it into one product. So it's 100% post-production recycled nylon. So that would get an innovative credit in LEED. There is a third-party certification company called the SCS, and they take into account that CHIPS rating. So that is now the standard for carpet as far as indoor air quality goes. And Mannington, as a company, we have products listed. 5 of our backings are listed platinum, 1 is at gold. And then also, have y'all heard of NSF, which is the National Science Foundation, and ANSI, which is the American National Standards Institute? Well, they've got a section that also applies to flooring. So there's certain parameters that have to be met in flooring so that it can be rated as NSF. For carpet, it's NSF 140, and for resilient, it's NSF 332. So there are parameters, it's third-party certification saying that these products meet the requirements for LEED. And I know that was kind of hard to go through, but you have this in your packets. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But as a company, I really wanted, we have a new pamphlet that is going to come out soon. I'd hoped that it was going to be ready for this event, but I can get it for you later. But what this is telling you is how does each backing contributes. And it tells you right here that it is 140 platinum, NSF 140, and then also the recycled content that it contains, that we are a ISO registered facility. We do have an outlet for reclamation. Mannington takes up carpet tile grinds it up nylon and backing and puts it back into carpet tile. So it's going back into itself. We've also taken it a step further on our website, and we've got an environmental scorecard, which tells you exactly how that particular pattern and backing can contribute to LEED. So here it talks about our technologies, oops, the technologies that Mannington has, the manufacturing that we are, the ISO facility, actions that we do, which is our reclamation, certifications, recognition, affiliations, and then this is the best part, which is how we contribute to LEED. Whether it's new construction, existing buildings, or interior construction. And this actually pulls out construction waste management, recycled content. It's all right here. It's already done for you, so you know how it can contribute.
Debbie, does Mannington have their own recycle mill?
We do the recycling at the mill, yes, for carpet tile. Yep. One more slide I wanted to show. This goes through the different backings that we have and how it can contribute to LEED. This is all on our website. But I have a backing, if I can find it. Revolve is our newest backing. This is the polyolefin that we looked at. Okay? This one actually has 3 to 5% rapidly renewable resource. So that is another area where this particular backing can contribute. Where is it? Where it is. It's credit 6, rapidly renewable materials. So that can contribute too. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and chew, swallow.
For government buildings with high traffic, and obviously you wouldn't put tile in extremely high traffic areas, but for reduction of sound and worker comfort, there are some limited areas where we use carpet at the county development. Do you have any opinions about what would be the most durable and type of carpet and appropriate backing for those applications that would also help with LEED requirements?
Yes. I mentioned earlier our vinyl back products. It's a proven performer. It's a moisture barrier. It's got the best wet and dry tuft bind. And carpet tiles are flexible because if you need to replace 1 or 2, you can. And all the warranties go with those backings as well. But that would be my recommendation for a project like that. Does anybody else have anything? Yep.
I mean, you showed like the latex compared to the vinyl. I'm guessing is there a big cost differential between the two?
Well, latex is your lowest cost backing. And then you have carpet tiles about $5 more than your latex if you want to go with a carpet tile. If you go with a moisture resistant broadloom, it's about right in the middle between those two. So you have different price points depending on where you need it. You know, we offer a lot of different backings on a lot of our patterns where you can put an action back or a latex maybe in your offices where you don't have that much high traffic, but you do the same pattern in carpet tile or a moisture barrier in your corridors. So you can cost average a project and get what you need as far as performance goes. A lot of times I see that the wrong backing is specified because of the budget. Well, like I said, you can work to get the right product where it needs to be and work with your reps to get it to where the budget should be. Does that make sense? Okay.
Debbie, in system
sustainable carpet, what is Mannington's typical warranty? 10 years.
Well, we have a lifetime warranty against edge ravel, delamination. So it's all covered, and that's what I'm saying. If you really are looking for longevity, for keeping that flooring, that carpet on the floor for as long as it's possible, that's the most sustainable story. And if you have a warranty that backs that up, you really can't go wrong. Is that it? Okay, thank you, everybody.